Hi everyone, welcome to another Zentangle Quickie. Today we're going to do Cubine. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden and I'm a Certified Zentangle Teacher, and we'll go ahead and get started on this. Cubine is I was calling them 3D, I was also calling them optical illusion, or you could call them op art tangle, and I think this is my favorite category of tangles. So I've already done my four corners and drawn a border on this little bijou tile, and we'll go ahead and get started. Now, as I mentioned, this is a grid tangle, so we're actually going to draw lines of a grid. And one thing to consider, and actually when you look at the step out, which is in the description of this video, this one, the grid is on the diagonal. So essentially we're working on a grid of diamonds instead of like a grid of squares. But to do the same thing, this is what I'm going to do, is I'm going to turn my tile. So here's how I want it to show up. So I'm going to turn my tile, and yeah, so hopefully this will work. I'm going to draw we'll see. We'll see together, right? So I'm going to start my grid here, and I like to draw from the center, and then I'm going to work my way out. I kind of decide, okay, how big do I want to have my boxes? And then I work to have them be as consistent as possible. Sometimes that's not, sometimes it doesn't end up the way we want, but that's okay. All right, then I work the other way. And always, it's like, okay, where would this next line be? It would be, basic, almost right there. So I'm just going to put a little dot. Now, turning it the other direction, we're going to, make the second part of our grid, and I do want these to be square, so I might not, so I'm ending up, as I'm drawing it, I'm looking, because I want this to be a nice, so it will form nice squares, as you can see. And then the same thing, I do it in the middle, and then I work my way out, and this way is, well, I don't know if you want to call it a little bit easier, sort of, is then I'm trying to actually make boxes, and, sometimes it's close. That's what we'll call that. And like most tangles, most all tangles, close is good. All right. So, yes. So see, so now looking at, if I want to have my tangle, be this way, then it works, or this way, versus some tangles I do on purpose, and I want it to be, like this, where the result is, I would showcase the tangle on, making it a diamond instead. So it's just a kind of an interesting little tip. Now, if any of you are, I think they still do this if you've ever bowled. I say, I'm dating myself in that, before they had computers take care of it for you, you would do it yourself. And so in the box where you would put your score, there would be a little box here. So like this, let me remember, this was like for your first throw, and then your second throw, and then you would make your total here, right? So this makes me think of it. And okay, looking here. So again, sometimes I work better, instead of looking at it as I have it on the step out, is, I kind of shift it so I'm looking at squares. And in each looking at upper right corner, we're going to make a little box. So it's a box within a box. And if you're looking at it kind of on the diamond, it would be, if that works better for you, it's, so we're making a square, and it's on the right corner is how it's going to be. And, and it's like the same thing. I aim to make them square. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. I'm going to leave these little partial guys till the end. Now, let me tell you this. If you're doing this with me and you go, oh my goodness, as I kind of went, oh my goodness, look at that. It's not really square. It really should be down a little bit. We're going to end up filling these in, and you know, my, course correction, like number one is, oh, when you fill it in, we can stretch that out a little bit. Now, I can't do anything about this being over this way too much, but if I want to, make this come down a little bit, then I certainly can. And it's nice to know these things kind of ahead of time, and to have that, and I share that as I'm doing it, because as you're tangling, if something happens, then in your mind, then you don't have to hang on to it. You can just hang on to the fact that, like, oh, I'll catch that when I'm doing the fill-in. And that's all you need to do. Because what we aim for in Zentangle is to have a nice, relaxing experience where, where we get to focus on the pattern and the repetition of the pattern. So there's two I guess, philosophies of why you do Zentangle. One could be you really want to have that meditative experience from it, and that's where the repetition and things come into play. Here, I'm just going to, let me interrupt myself for a moment. If you're doing like I'm doing, and this, I love doing it this way because it's just, it's like a puzzle, it's like a game, it's a challenge. So then I have to decide, okay, this box would be here. Where would I have this box, and how much of it would be showing? And I'm going to guess maybe that much of it would be peeking through, through that border there. And then here, same thing, and that might have a little bit, yeah, like that. Okay. And then I do that, and then I forgot what I was talking about. I'll have to watch the video, and maybe I'll put it in the comments as to what I was talking about. Oh, the two reasons that we do Zentangle. So one is hey, I really need to relax. I heard this is a great way to relax, and we do that. Then the other way is, hey, I really like those cool patterns, and they're amazing, and I want to learn how to do that. So it depends on which way you're coming from. But what we want to make sure is, we're doing things, we can ease the mind, just know things can be course corrected if need be. All right, now that we're done with this step, and let's look at it, as the diamonds again. So now we're going to take from this point on your, these little, the little boxes that we just added, we're going to draw lines from this point to this empty point here. I'm going to draw diagonal. I guess that would, it's just a line across the box. So from this point, actually, yeah, this is the only open point here. Sometimes I want to find the right way to describe it, so that way, again, so you have the best experience in completing this tangle. And just drawing from this point, just directly across into that corner. And then, so like these partials, it's like, well, that one is just going to go there into infinity. And because I was kind of doing them out of order, then I missed some. This also helps in, and I know I will catch some as I'm going. And so now you really almost get that 3D effect like right now, which is so neat. Okay, just want to make sure I haven't missed anything. But this, as you do steps, you might find that that you missed something. Yeah, you just add it as soon as you find it. Okay. So there we have that. Now we're going to do the color in the box, and this is one where if you have a thicker nibbed pen, it is sometimes helpful. I'm going to use my 08, and then again, this is where you do have to kind of be careful. And I'm almost thinking now, if you wanted to fill in, and stretch out any of the boxes, the thing you have to be careful of is that we drew these lines. Now, if you ended up with something that was like, oh, I really don't want to, that looks bad, we could flip these steps, because it would be totally okay to fill these in and then draw those lines. So I'm going to just add that to the video or here, just to let you know. I'm just going to leave my boxes, I think, as they are, because I also like to kind of prove the points that, while we like to be perfect, and we can strive for perfection. I strive to make nice straight lines, to not go so fast, so that way my lines will stay straight. I strive to have everything, line up. But just like life, sometimes it just doesn't work out, and we have to also be okay with that, or so otherwise we'll drive ourselves crazy. And so, so it's like I'm using an 08 here. The Micron pens, they do come in. I have it, and I need to order some because they just came out with a 10 and a 12. They also have, see, if I should have this handy when I'm getting ready to do this, so that way, because I always seem to mention it and then I don't have it handy, and that's not good. I was probably tangling somewhere else, but there is a set of, they call it graphics, and they kind of look more like a brush pen. Yeah, I don't have mine handy. More like a brush pen. But not really floppy like a brush pen. But they have a nice thick point. Actually, I think it's a 1. So where this is an 08, that is a 1. And I think that, I know Zentangle only carries 1, but I believe other suppliers they make a 2 and a 3 also. So if you want that really thick nib. And they're just nice because I have done this with, just the 01. It just takes a long time. But I'll tell you this, sometimes filling in with just that 01, especially if you're using a Zentangle original tile. Gosh, now I have to, okay, that is the little square. The cotton paper kind of draws out the ink. So sometimes even if you're just kind of going slow a little bit, you can almost watch the ink get sucked from the pen. So it doesn't take as long as you want. And if you're looking for for the meditative relaxation, there's something to be said. It's kind of like the Zen thing, or I think of the Zen garden, where you're raking that sand. And so just carefully coloring in, filling in these little boxes can take care of that repetitive and relaxing aspect, so that way you're not thinking about anything else, just focusing in on the pen, watching the ink, hit the paper, and filling in that box, and then moving to the next box. So there's sometimes we have little patience, and we can kind of take lessons from Zentangle. Like, this is like, just slow down and just color in the box. There's a t-shirt. Slow down. It's like the keep calm, and that's what I should do. Keep calm and just color in the box. And I'm getting these done here. And this is where, you can see that we've drawn these really neat cubes they were now sinking down into, as if this was like the Twilight Zone, and we've made another dimension underneath this paper. Oh, and I shall also say, because as my hand was kind of cramping up for a minute, it's always good, to take a minute, look across the room as you're tangling, focus your eyes on something else before you go cross-eyed. And then to take a hand stretch break, because I do end up, I traditionally will, have this, I call it the death grip, and I'm deciding now, I think I should have had this box. This should have a box like right here. And see, a lot of times I don't draw my box with the thicker, because I want to have that nice crisp, edge. And so as I'm doing it, I'm thinking, you could just draw it with the, with that, with the 08 and not be switching. And it's like, well, yeah. And then I tell myself, well, yes, I could. However, we want to have those crisp lines. All right. So our last step, well, second to last step, we should say, is we're going to color in. So if I'm looking at it as diamonds, we're going to color in these. So here, and I say, look at your individual boxes. And so we have this bottom section and this top section. So of each individual box, we're going to just throw some graphite in there. And you don't have to be neat necessarily with the graphite. You don't have to put a lot, because we're going to come back with the tortillon and smooth that out. And if you don't have a tortillon, I know somebody, they could roll up paper towels, and that worked just fine. One thing to be careful of is this one you do want to stay within the lines for the effect that it has. And it's also, I'm catching myself, it's like, okay, let's make sure that we are, it's like go to box and not, and actually, let me just make a little, okay, there it is. Because I'm seeing here, I'm like, this looks like an edge. And it would kind of go like that. I just need to have those little extra lines on. I call it, especially because I'm essentially drawing under this border. And for me, it's just, it makes it convincing that I'm drawing underneath. So sometimes I end up going in an angle like this because it seems to, because I can see these, and you like, you don't want to miss anything. But again, be careful to stay within that one little box. And like I said, we're going to spread that out with the tortillon in a second here. And as I do that, then I'll find all of the places. Oh, here's one. We'll find all the places that I missed. All right. Now with the tortillon, and this just smooths out the graphite, as you can see. And I mean, this is a used one, so I have some left, so that's probably why it's coming out a little bit darker, but it does anyway. When you spread it out, it smooths it and kind of darkens it a little bit, which is nice. So this is what creates, or just really, it doesn't, I mean, all of it creates that 3D effect, but this really cements it, is that we have this one shaded box, and it just adds that extra dimension. And the reason I say be careful not to go into these boxes is some of that is, let's see, let me get more of them in a row done here. By not going into this section, and sometimes, you can kind of turn it. I think I just need to fill in this one. It just helps with the illusion, because, if there's no graphite in here and it's just clean, it just helps with that 3D illusion that we're looking into waffles, because some of these make me think of waffles, and you're looking sideways into it, and just having this one shaded section really helps with that. And I just know from when I have done this before, and if I got sloppy and I, went into that other line, or even in drawing the lines and making sure that things are connected. And so I've gone from this corner right into this corner, and making that nice clean edge, that just seems to help with the overall look of this. So that, and I share that also because if you're ending up having trouble with it, that might be where it is. So it's like, take a look at, how are your corners? Do you see? So like if I turn it this way, yeah, you can see. Oh gosh, that just looks amazing. It's just like, it's just so cool. And my thing, not being an artist, it's just like, oh my gosh, look at that. I did that. That's amazing. And that's what fascinates me. But so seeing, each of these little boxes and having those crisp lines, that's what really helps. I mean, let me take that back. I'm going to guess that you could, have these be wiggly lines if you wanted to, but I think that it's these corner lines. So we make, okay, this is an edge, so that we've made a box. And even if it's curvy, you can still, I think, make a nice edge. And these lines would probably need to be straight. That's a kind of fun experiment that I just might, as I was just thinking about, like, ooh, that'd be fun to try. But yeah, it's just, because like you were seeing this line here, and these are all dark, these are all dark, and these lines are all white, if we were looking top-wise into cubicles. So that, again, that just helps to have the pattern come off the way it's supposed to. And it is just a neat pattern. And I hope that this helped. If you've tried this and had challenges, or if you haven't tried it at all and you just like knocked it out of the park the first time, I hope so. If you did, please leave me some notes in the comments. Appreciate any likes, shares, subscribes, all of that. And there's also information in the description on if you've not connected already on Facebook and things, how you can connect, take some of the ongoing classes that I'm offering, things like that. So happy tangling.